that you're taking away, something that you are going to begin to do intentionally. That also helps. Okay? So that's the YouTube. I'm going to run one. Alrighty. Just confirm that you can hear me loud and clear. Yes, yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight. So I'm going to share my screen now. It's the 238th day of 2024. And interestingly, that is the topic that we have before us tonight on this webinar. 228 numbering our days. If you're there, say hi in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Really? Are you sure the volume is low or I'm not speaking loud? Can you hear me louder now? Can you hear me louder now? Okay, I think quite a number of people are not used to hearing me speak this way. As it usually just gets really passionate and then she speaks loud. Oh, yes, I'm going to do just that. Oh, thank you, Sam. Sam says you look pretty as always. I like there's always parts like that. Never to be caught on fresh. Okay, guys, enough of this joking. Good evening. Welcome. This is Number Your Days webinar. Is day 238 of 366. Yes, yes, yes. This year is a leap year. And we want to talk about how this year has been and how we can better maximize our time, maximize our days, and do better with our years. And that is quite important because many times we just think, oh, today has gone again. Oh, yeah, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and then get to all the things that I have to do. And we might not just be mindful of how far we have gone and mindful of, what could have been different in our lives. And if, of course, the moment you're mindful of what could have been different, then you're able to start in the direction of that difference that you want or you desire. And of course, there's a lot of gratitude that should well up in our hearts that we are even alive and well to see this very day. It's part of numbering our days. Yes, we're going to be focusing a lot about, what we've achieved and how we could achieve more with our years. Yes, we've got 128 days to go in the year. And this webinar, I believe, to a large extent, would show you what you could possibly do, in the remaining part of the year to ensure that 2024 comes out as wonderful as you want it. Okay, so I put this here. That might not be exactly what you see, but that's how, the table of content came to my mind. And I'm already in the introduction section. And to introduce myself, in case you don't know me, my name is Sheyi Jalayame. You can find out more about me on sheyijalayame.com so that then I don't have to, do that presentation here, but I am a personal development coach, and I love to share my ideas. I love to share the knowledge that I have. I love to see people step into wisdom. I love to see people grow and be better. And because I want to see it happen for people, it's also one major thing that I am actively working on in my life. So perpetually on the path of personal development as I execute all the things that I have on my mind. All right, so today we're going to look at purpose-driven numbering, and not necessarily because you're going to see that topic in the presentation, as I said earlier, but if we're speaking of numbering our days, then that numbering has to be purpose driven. And then I said bench numbering, it's more like benchmarking, but because I wanted to play with the words number, so we would see how to number our benches. I mean, we see whatever the benches are, then killing the numbers. So when you say, oh, I'm killing it, so then that speaks a lot about execution and then staying on the numbers. So, keep your focus. No, that six shouldn't start looking like a nine right now. Keeping that focus, keeping yourself working in consistency is what that, is going to be. And then number six is working numbers, like question mark to say, are the numbers working? Are they working for you? And then, of course, that's 1 to 6 on the table of content. And I put 100 as question and answer. So, you know, fill up 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, up to 99 with all the things that you're going to learn or get out of this night's webinar. If you're excited, let me see you put it in the chat, whether you're on YouTube or you are on Zoom. And I think you can just, do that beautiful kindness and go ahead and share this link with your friends, share them with people that you want. In fact, you can decide to put it on your WhatsApp status as well. Because when you do that, people who might not check their DMs quickly might just find that, and will have more people come to glean from this knowledge. I believe that as much as possible, as yes, I'm a coach and I charge for my coaching sessions, I charge for my mentorship sessions as well. But to a large extent, there's some knowledge that you can give to people free. It doesn't mean that everybody will use it to the extent to which it should be used. But at least if somebody is on number one, for example, since we have number one on the table of contents, and you're able to add 2, 3, 4, even though 100 is where they are supposed to be, the moment you're able to get them to 4, then that means they have 3 down and then the other 96 thereabout to go. So to a large extent, share with somebody, even if they don't like your face, it's fine. They will still learn something tonight. Okay, so when we speak of maximizing our year, we're talking of the 128 days that we have left in 2024. And we need to ensure that we use these days judiciously. And I want to promise you that if you think that you have not even achieved anything in 2024 just yet, 128 days is good enough time. And I know that because I run 100 days of growth. I know quite a number of you know that, and you've been in some of you have been in the sessions. The truth of the matter is that a whole lot can happen in 100 days. A whole lot of changes, mindset reorientation. You can meet a friend. In fact, you can decide to marry. Imagine today you've not met the person, you meet the person tomorrow, 100 days from now, which is 99 days or 101 days from today. You can just be talking about wedding, because in 100 days, things can get concretized. Plans are made. I mean, we're speaking of an entire quarter of the year plus 10 extra days. And the 10 extra days for me is to say, okay, let's plan it. Let's put it together in those 10 days. And then let's intentionally run it for 90 days. So if we have 128 days left, then it means you have 100 days that you could use for like 100 days of growth cycle with SDJ, for example. And you have 28 extra days. That is like the entire month of February in a year to do a whole lot more. So you see that even though we've gone quite deep into the year and we're about to enter the ember months, which looks like, oh, the year's rounding off, there's still a lot that you need to do. But this has to happen with you having a purposeful vision or revisiting your purposeful vision. You have to, set goals that are effective at this point. In this 128 days, we want to be focused on the kind of goals that we are setting. You have to ensure that you are executing with a strategy, not just random, workings and, jumping or into things anymore, like you probably might have done in the beginning of the year or from the first day of the year up until now. We're on day 238 already. You want to be focused, staying consistently on your plan. There's no, extra time anymore. So we want to maximize the remaining days that we have. And then, of course, you want to subject some of the things that you're doing to some level of assessment, some level of checks, some level of metrics that allows you to then know whether or not you are on track, because you don't want to wait till this remaining 128 days are over before you realize that you have not done all the things that you plan to do, or at least achieve the things that you would have loved to achieve with this very year. Okay, so we're stepping in now to speak of the first part of this, and that is the part that I call the purposeful vision. And that is what I call the purpose-driven numbering in the table of content. So you need to have a vision for your year. So now you might have set out to have a vision for your year. So if you have that already, then you must go back to it and check and say, how far have we achieved? What have we done? And am I in line with the vision that I have? But if you didn't, start your year with a vision, then this is the time to say, I have a few days left. I still have about 6 days left in this month, and I can sit down and then envision what I want the remaining 128 days of this year to be. I can envision what I want to have achieved at the end of this year. And if you can push it further, you can push it, for 3 years, for 5 years, for 10 years, or what you want to achieve with your life. You can set a vision for your life and then check where you are and find out whether or not you're moving in that direction, right? But this vision must come from a place of purpose, not just the random, at the end of this year, I think I should have $3 million. I have the vision that I'm going to build a skyscraper before the end of this year. Well, that's fantastic vision to have, but we are speaking of something that has you, that has everything inside of you, something that has a why, a strong why. Why do you want to build a skyscraper? What difference is it going to make? If you're able to answer that question quickly, then go ahead. You've got 128 days to build this skyscraper. So your vision, when we speak about vision, that's the reason that you are alive. That's the reason that you want to, be successful. That is the why behind every of your actions. Or we can say the why behind your life. So if you want to say, I want to envision this year and look at this remaining days, September, October, November, December, 4 months, what is it going to look like? Then find that out and have a why with it. Why? If that why is something that you cannot answer, then perhaps that vision is not coming from purpose yet. Because more often than not, what we are able to envision and that we're able to tie to a certain purpose, something that is really important to us, that is what we're able to run with and run with till the end. Do you see this? So we have to now envision the remaining part of this year, or look at the vision that you've already written ahead of this year. So when we now speak of this purpose, driven vision of yours, what are the things that you can quickly do in that direction? And this is how I've chunked it down for you so that then you can quickly get to the point and, if possible, set an action plan for yourself tonight. Identify your purpose if you haven't, and identify how, what you're doing or what you're trying to achieve in this year is aligning with that purpose. And if what you're trying to achieve this year is not aligned with that purpose, then you have to try to align it. Develop a vision statement, or go back to the vision statement that you've already written. So you see, for you who has done beautifully well in 2024, good. What's your vision statement? Do you remember it? Do you know it? Are you still running in that direction? And in case you don't have a vision statement, you have not identified your purpose, then you can visualize your future. Try to imagine what you want that your future to be, and then develop a vision statement from there by describing that vision that you see. And in the course of describing that vision, you will be able to identify your purpose in that written statement, because you will be able to see the why, the problem that you're solving, the change that you are making. And I chose to start very early, deep in this, conversation of vision and purpose, because many of us are too quick to do from just that. I just need to get busy. I just want to get something, the ball rolling. Action just needs to start. But that is why it seems like we keep starting and stopping, because our vision is not being purpose driven. We are not, setting our lives or envisioning our lives from the point of view of why. So there's nothing that is chasing us from inside, based on how far we are living, or based on how well we're living our lives, or based on the kind of culture or what we're spending our time on. So the second thing now that I want us to look at is goal setting. So when you're finally said, okay, this is what I want to achieve in this remaining 128 days, based on how I envision the end of my year to be, or this is how I want my life to be at the very end, and based on that, I can achieve XYZ of that thing that I want my life to look like. I can achieve that XYZ in 2024. Then when you have envisioned it and you have put your why beside it, and you know why you're going for what you're going for, you need to set goals. And simply put, our goals are the breakdown of that thing that we've envisioned, that vision that you've already had, that you've already written down. Remember, I said in the first part that you need to write down a vision statement. So that vision that you have already written down, then when you are able to now break it down to actions that you can take or steps that you can measure, that will help you to stay in line and stay in focus. Remember, we said we have 128 days to go. So we don't have time to beat around the bush. We don't even have so many days to plan. And I already broke down, how much you can achieve a lot in 100 days. And I'm trying to imagine that the festive period is going to be in between this, and you might have family around, have a whole lot of other things that you're trying to do or that you need to do. So because of that, to a large extent, you are not, able to have the exact 128 days to run a vision or run in the direction of a goal. So even when you now take 28 days out of this 128 days that we have left in 2024, then you can still have 110 days to plan and 3 solid months to run and chase your dream, to move in the direction of your desires, and see that the things that you have written down, that you have broken down, the vision that you have broken down, you are now able to take actions in that direction. And of course, like I said earlier, measure the steps to be sure that at the end of this year, I'm going to look back at August, today's August 25. I'm going to look back at August 25 and say, that particular night that I had that webinar with SDJ changed my life, because I began to do what I couldn't do before, what I had stopped doing, or what I'd never imagined that I would do. And 2024 ended fantastic for me. And that is the joy that I want to share with you at the end of this year. So when we speak about goal setting, many times, and I'm saying this not because I'm saying, oh, you're there, you don't know much, or you don't really know what personal development entails and all. Yes, it could be, especially if you have a lot of things on your mind and multiple things that you want to do. You could find it, somewhat hard to break it down into specific steps, actions to take. But no matter how few the steps are, please go ahead and do it. Maybe ideally you think there should be 100 steps between where you are now and what you want to achieve in 31st of December 2024, and all you can write is 3. So we can now say 1, 2, 3 that you've written. One can be achieved in September, for example. Two can be achieved in October. Three can be achieved in November. And then December will be used to look at all of it and plan ahead of the year 2025. And then we can go ahead and now have a wonderful festive period. And I tell you that if you are able to achieve one major thing every month, you would have achieved 12 major things in a year. So my question to you is, have you achieved 12 major things this year, despite the fact that you have judged this year? Fantastic. You're so far away, SDJ. I'm not in the category of those you're talking about. Me, I've been setting goals since, and it's been like 20 years. Yes, I know. But have you achieved 12 major things this year? If your answer is still no, then it means that you might possibly have not even maximized your year near half that you could have, because this is just simply saying achieving one thing in 30 days, one major thing that you want to do. So if you're making 12 changes in your life, one major change per month, at the end of the year, you would be experiencing exponential growth, and you will be dealing and living at a standard that you have never lived before. And that is my desire for you, in the remaining 128 days of this year and going forward. So we've spoken about having a vision that is hinged on purpose, and we are now saying go ahead and set goals. And that is simply saying break it down. You have looked at the things that you've written down before, and it seems that you've not achieved it all. That's fine. Now decide what you can still do out of all of those things. Some things are time bound, I know, but it doesn't even mean that you can't begin it at any point in time. Or maybe you already decided you are going to start up a program in April 2024, and that program is not open, at this time. So it means that even though you are now desiring to get into a training program, it cannot be the one you wrote down to do in April. That's fine, but you can still learn one or two things. You can still, do a short course, or you can now go ahead and apply for the April 2025 one, so that then your application comes in early. So perhaps with that, you're able to apply for a scholarship or something, or plan better ahead for it financially. There are multiple, advantages that you can have from starting up ahead and starting up quick. So goal setting that is breaking down your vision into steps that you can take. And of course, goal setting provides structure for us. It helps us to be accountable to ourselves, to the things that we are reading. So you can't say, I know it in my head, SDJ, there are 16 things I want to do. Wake me up any time of the day, 16 things I can do. If it's not written down and you don't have a place where you can go and view it and measure it and check it and tick it out, you might just struggle with being accountable to it. And of course, your motivation comes when you keep ticking and say, oh, done, check. Oh, fantastic. This one, yeah, we can do this in 3 days. Oh, this one, yeah, I can call Sam right now, and Sam can get that, down to help me with that. Or Sam can give me the resources I need for that. I can check this one. Oh, yeah, I can call that my friend down. Oh, yeah, good. That is how you find yourself going on to the next action. Remember, we've got 128 days, and we don't want to waste any. So urgent action to take in this direction. You've heard it so many times. I'm saying it again. Set SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, what's the R? Relatable and relevant. That R could be that relevant to your vision, relevant to your purpose. You can relate with it because it's in the desire, in the direction of what you want to do or achieve with your life. And of course, the T is a time bound. We already have 128 days, so you already have your time, but then you don't want to spend the 128 days on a specific task, right? So you want to say in 30 days, I would have finished this. In another 30 days, I would have done this, and that 30 days, I would have done this as my days and all. But please don't now leave it and come back to your 30 days then to find out that you have not done it. Then if I'm going to have achieved this particular thing in 30 days from now, it means at the end of week 1, I should have completed this. At the end of week 2, I should have completed this. That is how to begin to break it down. And you need to highlight what's the short term and the long term. Remember, the vision that you have is, wide and large. Sometimes it's difficult to envision just a single year. You're envisioning your life and you're going on a journey with yourself in your life. So the short term ones, yeah, I can do this one in 30 days. I can do this one in 90 days. I can achieve this one in 128 days, that we have left in this year. Or long term, well, I'm going to start this right now, but it's going to continue through 2025 and 2026 so that by 2029, maybe I would have achieved XYZ. So you need to break that down. So you're not chasing something. I mean, for example, you could say you want to be a medical doctor, and currently you are just trying to write your JAMB or get out of secondary school. So obviously being a medical doctor is not a short-term goal for you, because then it's what other things will happen between now and when you get that degree, that those ones can be in multiple categories of short-term. And of course, goals help you to prioritize. But because you now have 128 days, you now need to prioritize further. What else can I still do now? Okay, what is important now? When I started this year, I wasn't in this situation. I didn't feel the way I'm feeling. I didn't have the responsibility that I have now. Okay, good. So what should get your priority now? That is what we want to see on your set goals. That is what we want to see as the goals that you have set for the remaining 128 days. So at this point, yes, we might be looking at long term, but remember, we are having this webinar to specifically speak of the 128 days that you have left in this year. So anything that would not allow you to have a fulfilled year at the end of the day, you might want to say, oh, can we push this further? Can we prioritize the ones that we can do in the short term so that we can tick off some of the things that we need to do? Or can we lay foundation, for example, for all of our long-term goals? So what is the priority then? My priority will be the foundation laying for all the long-term goals, rather than trying to now focus on one single goal and chase it with everything. So it depends on what your priorities are or your decisions, are in this journey. If you're getting something, put it in the chat. I want us to engage. If you have questions, please go ahead and let's have this conversation together. And one of the things that I will do at the end of this webinar is based on the decision, I'll make that decision. I don't want to tell you the criteria just yet. At the end of this webinar, two people will get a one-on-one session with me to do their goal setting, to have conversations about how to spend the remaining 128 days of the year. I'm not going to tell you the metrics yet. I'm going to keep it. Miss, you also have to stay till the end and ensure you participate in whatever it is I say you need to do. All right, guys. So we're going to the third part, and this is execution. And that was what I called killing the numbers in the table of content. You have to execute. You have to do the work. And execution is that bridge that connects your goals to reality. So reality is, what you want to experience in your daily life, right? Though your goals are the things that you have set ahead, they are in the future. So if you say you're setting something as a goal, it must be in your future. You don't have that thing currently in your life right now, right? So when you now want that thing to come into your reality, execution is that bridge. You can't be satisfied with writing your goals alone. You must begin to work on them. And working on your goals are quite important because they require your own mind. They require you having a strategy to achieve it. And when you have a strategy to, achieve your goals, that means you are intentionally executing. You are writing the specific things that you will do. So you are now not just writing it down. It's not just written. You now get up tomorrow morning as it is on your, action plan template, and then you go ahead and do what you say you've written. Execution is simply saying, get up and go and do what you have said you want to do. Oluwagbe, get up and do it. You've written it, is there. Lovely goal setting template, but you need to get up. Wanna like go and you need to do it. You need to put what you have written down into practice. You need to get on it and do it really well. And that requires action planning. It requires time management. And many times I share my own strategy for time management. I have time blocks, and then I have specific schedule for the things that I want to do. Yes, I know that some people might not have a control of their time as much as being able to dictate all that happens in 24 hours. But even if you work for someone, you still have control over, your wake up time, your control over your transit time, you have control over your break time, you have control after you've closed from work and you're going back home, you have control over what happens over the night and the time that you need to sleep and all of those things. You can still get on your time management. It works. If you are not able to get control of your time, then execution will be hard, because it will be as though your life is on some sort of autopilot, and that autopiloting does not allow you to leave that path that you're already working on and face the direction of the execution. So execution is not hard in itself. It's because we might not have set, our goals clear enough. We might not have written the steps that we want to take clear enough. And we might not have created time in our lives. We might not have made room in our lives for that particular task or the things that we want to do. And the third one is resource allocation. You have to allocate resources to say, the very fun way to say it is put your money, or put your mouth where your money is. Is it your money you're putting where your mouth is? If you have, a desire to achieve something, then you must be willing to deploy resources in a direction. And time, of course, is part of your resources. But I chose to put time, to stand alone, because time is that resource that all of us have, right? And we don't have more than anyone else. Each one of us has that exact 24 hours in a single day. It's just what we do with our time that is different. But we all have other resources, right? You have a friend, you have money, you have some level of education, access to materials, and whatever it is that you have as resources. And you need to now ensure that you are allocating the resources in the direction of that thing that you want to achieve. So we're speaking about execution. Going on to the fourth one. Yes, we're moving fast, close to 10 p.m. The fourth one now speaks of you staying on track. And that is what I call focus. Just focus. Can you just keep your focus? Can you stay on track? Can you be on that path? Is 128 days, and 128 days can sometimes feel like a lifetime, because sometimes we get to the 100 days of growth cycle, and usually it happens after 4 weeks. So you've kept your motivation, you've done all of those things you want to do, but it just seems like, can I continue this? Because change is hard, growth is hard, being different is hard, stepping into maturity is hard, becoming somebody who is always spot on is hard. But when you get there, by staying on track, then it becomes easier, because that aspect of your life can now get on some sort of, auto drive, where you've already created the system around yourself. But you first have to learn it to stay on track, even when everything seems to be pulling you. So things might happen. I mean, some changes are that we might not be able to have control over. For example, in 2020, COVID happened. And no matter how much you wanted to stay on track, the whole world was literally on lockdown. That's a different case. It's different from you and what you have control over, right? And consistency is important, because it ensures that you grow steadily into it. So you grow to become. It's not that you just do. So that's what happens. That's why it seems like we do a little and we go back. We do a little and we go back. Someone here, nobody's engaging in the chat, guys. I hope you're here and you're learning. Write something in the chat for me. So that's why it seems like we go up and up and down, up and down every time, because it seems like we have not grown into it. And the simple way to look at it, for example, if you see a child who is a 10-year-old, maybe a 10-year-old girl, for example, who is already wearing maybe a size 38 shoes, and then because her mom wears 39 shoes, she gets into her mom's heels. And then she goes, Mommy, look at me. I'm as tall as you are. And that's good, because I mean, she's probably going to be lifted up and get quite tall based on the elevation of the shoes. But then she's going to get out of those shoes and go back to the height, that she has always been. That's what happens when we are not consistent and we are not growing consistently. We don't become the people or the person who is able to achieve or who is able to deliver at the level we want. So it might happen once. We might try and hit it once. But if we have not grown to that level, it seems like there's also a fall. So that up and down, growing and coming back, growing and coming back, now makes us discouraged. So don't try to take 16 steps at once. Grow into something first. Grow into the next step first. There's this person, I was reading a book, and the way the person described it was so interesting. Said, how you're learning to drive, especially when you're learning to drive a manual car. And then there's the clutch, there's the gear, and then there is the accelerator and the brake. And then there are three things right there under there. You've got only two legs. And then there is the gear, first gear, second, third, fourth gear, or whatever, I don't know what number of gears that the car has. And there is the reverse. I mean, the auto one. That's why I said driving a manual car, because if you have the auto gear, it's just the drive D and R reverse, and maybe neutral and some other ones. So maybe if you now have low gear or you have a four-wheel drive, you might have some other extra complications there. But ideally, for the manual gear cars, you have to know when to take it out from gear 1 to 2 to 3 as you're gaining momentum. And for each time you have to press your clutch. If anybody here has ever attempted to drive a manual gear car, please put it in the chat, because those people who were just born very recently, right, they'll be wondering, SDJ, what are you talking about? Life doesn't have to be that hard. But that's how it is, right? But you're like, is it the clutch now, or is it what am I which one? Like, gosh, if anybody's trying to talk to you, you're gonna be like, right now, all I need to keep my eyes on this road. I can't check this gear I'm driving. And is it brake I'm supposed to press now, or clutch? As a brain working, hands working, feet working, you sweating. Wow. However, the moment you now know how to drive, you probably can be grabbing a sandwich somewhere, and as you're biting the sandwich, they're putting it there, you're changing the gear at the same time. And then the next thing is, oh, your friend is calling, you are quickly picking it up and putting, and like, yes, yes, how are you? I don't have my hands free right now. You that you could not even have, like, you couldn't even hear anything before when you were learning. So that is how, when you look at it from that point of view, you begin to see that many times we don't give ourselves enough credit for the things that we're learning to do, for the change that is coming into our lives, right? Because you're like, oh, because I don't get it. Oh, I've tried 3 times. Did you just try 3 times and you knew how to drive a manual gear car? Wow, you must be Captain America. Don't mind me. I see a few people giving comments in the chat. Yes, when you said I learned driving with manual, oh my God. If you didn't sweat, I don't know how to explain. I'm telling you, focus, Esther. Some people are even doing video call. Oh my gosh. If you're learning, you can't even try it. Nobody will tell you not to do it, because you're like, look, my brain, my eyes, my nose, like, you can even hold your breath, because if you're like, if I breathe wrongly right now, something might go wrong. All right. I said all of this story to say you need steady progress. Don't try to jump the whole gun. That's why we said you've got 128 days. Little progress, 15 minutes a day. I can assure you that at the end of this month, you would have finished reading the book you've been trying to read all year. 15 minutes a day. because that means in 4 days you would have committed an hour to it, and in that's in 30 days. Then when you calculate how much, in fact, you probably would have read more than that book, to be honest, because most books you finish them between 10 to 15 hours depending on how fast you read. So if you are doing 1 hour every 4 days, then in 8 days you have already done two. I mean, and for the 10 hours books, I'm speaking of books that have, up to 300 pages. And then of course they have small fonts, not certainly not as big as 12 sometimes. But if it's the big font books, even at in 250, 300 pages, you can be done in 2, 3 weeks, 15 minutes a day of reading. I said here that distractions, setbacks, and complacency can derail your efforts. Don't look anywhere. You're learning. This is literally just see your life as a manual gear car that you're trying to drive. Like I'm trying to focus here, guys. I can't do. You can't be playing that Netflix series here and you expect me to lie down on that couch. And no, I can't hear anything right now because I'm gonna be distracted. I don't have time to gist with you late into the night right now because it's going to be a setback for me. I've got 15 minutes of reading to do every day. And yeah, you're going to just call me on the phone and chit chat with me for 15 minutes. That's my destiny, chit chatting away. If we take it that serious, right? We're not complacent, then we can stay on focus. We can stay on focus, stay on track, guy. And yes, I know sometimes some days might not be like others, and you miss 15 minutes, and it's the third day you've missed 15 minutes. That's okay. Can you start again today? Don't stop. Don't stop. Stay on track. So we want to say that for the 3 days you sat down, you didn't go away. But when you now go away, then that will really be going away. Then you probably closed the book, you've deleted it, thrown it away, or even dashed it out to a friend. No, please don't do that. We need to stay on track. 128 days, we're getting it right this year. And staying on track ensures that your daily actions are aligning with your vision. Remember, we started with a vision and we talked about how you have to have a vision that is purposeful, and you set in your goals in that direction. That is, break down that vision that you have into steps that you can take, right? And then from taking that steps or breaking down and that thing into steps that you can take. We spoke about execution strategy. We spoke about how execution is get up and go. You have said you will do it. Good. Get up, do it. Yes, we have heard you and you've written it down. Good. Do it. That's execution. It's that simple. And when you now get to do it, yes, you didn't do it well because this is you learning to drive a manual gear car. Oh, great. Then get to field again tomorrow and do it again. And that will be staying on track. And the urgent things that you need to do in this direction is, as much as possible, do a daily review. Guys, we've got 128 days. So every day, have I done? Check. Oh, wow, I didn't do this. Oh gosh, some days are like, it didn't do nothing that I planned to do today happened the way that I planned it. And I promise you, I get those kind of days as well. But it is because you are reviewing it daily that you knew that nothing that you plan to do today. Let it not be that it is the end of September and it is nothing that I plan to do in September is the way. No, it cannot be. At least 5 of the days you should have gotten something. And that is possible if you're doing daily review. Okay. And of course, create or leverage on your accountability system. If you don't have one, then create it. If you already have one, then leverage it. Don't just say, I have it and I have it. Yes, having it is good. Using it, leveraging it, relying on it, helping them to put you back. I teach forcing systems in my personal transformation class. Creating forcing systems around yourself as your own accountability system can help. And of course, maintain motivation by revisiting your vision regularly. So this daily reviews is you revisiting your execution strategy or looking at your goals. But you need to go back and look at the vision. What did we say we're trying to achieve again? How did we say we will be at the end of this year again? Fantastic. Then you get on track and you go and you do much more and you do much more. Okay. It's 10 p.m. We have just a few more minutes to go. And this is also rounding up gradually. You now need to get to assessment, evaluate what is working. Is it working? Someone said it's working. All right, it's working. Good. Is it working? When it's not working, find out why it's not working and then decide whether or not is the way to go, the way to continue. And that is the why. You know, we sing that song. Is it working? Is working. Is it working? Sometimes it doesn't work automatically. You have to find out if it's working. And if it's not working, then you need to find out why. Don't just say, it's not working, out of the window. Why? Because if you don't know the why, the next thing that you're going to pick might just not work for the very reason why the first one didn't work. And if you know your why, you might find out that even though it's not working for project A, it might just work for project B. So it's the fact that it's not working on this one this time does not mean that it is a bad strategy and it is, or it can never be used. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay, I see charts. I'm going to read that later. I just want to round up quickly. So assessment prevents time and resources wasting. It allows you to see quickly and then you get on it quickly. And of course, it guides against ineffective strategy. So once that strategy is not effective, you have not spent the whole 128 days on it. You've quickly checked it and you've quickly moved on into something else that can work. And of course, when your strategy is not effective, it's going to derail you from your vision entirely because you're just going to get tired of going and doing and doing and doing and not seeing the results that you want to see. And the other things that you need to do is you should set your performance metrics. And yes, I know that looks like big grammar. What it means is that how will I know that I have achieved this thing? I want to get this certification by the end of this year. How will I know that I am on track? So your metrics for that can be in three ways. One, I have enrolled for the course and I've paid if it's a paid course. Two, I am attending class. Am I attending class? You understand? Then three, did I write the exam and pass? That's simple. Because when we say performance metrics, it's sounding like, what exactly again am I going to write in this one? Is that simple? Write your metrics in your own words. Write your action plan in your own words. Do your assessment in the way that you can understand and you can measure it yourself. Okay. And of course, the moment you see if you're checking daily, you're doing reviews, right? So you're able to tell, oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I spent too much time on this. Oh, this is not working. Okay. Reflect and adjust. Perhaps you thought 15 minutes, a day, like SDJ said, will allow you to finish the book in 1 month. But you found out that you have read 15 minutes a day and you have only read maybe 10 pages, and it's the end of the week. So maybe you read slowly, or perhaps the font is smaller, or perhaps the book is bigger than what SDJ estimated as a standard book. Good. Reflect and adjust. So in this one, it means, I can't finish this book in 1 month. That's fine. So it means I'm reading this book for the whole of September and October. Yes, that is you going through your own assessment and not putting yourself under unnecessary pressure. Because by the time you don't do that metrics and you don't do that reflection and adjustment, you will find out that it might happen that when you don't finish that book in 1 month, you begin to lose steam. I'm like, I should have finished. I've set another book for month 2 again now. I'm not able to read that book. This thing doesn't work. Well, it's because probably you've not used the right metrics to check whether what you're putting or the input you're putting is the right one. And of course, for a part of your assessment is celebrating success, no matter how small it is. Like the example I gave, the moment you register for that course, you can celebrate. And please don't over celebrate and spend all the money when you have not gotten the certificate, right? So you could dance, you could, take yourself out for a treat. You could sleep an extra hour on a particular day. I mean, you could celebrate in different ways, right? And then you could start to hang out with friends. You could choose to watch a movie or an episode of your favorite Netflix series that you have put aside for some time. Or maybe you don't do Netflix, you do Prime, or you don't do Prime, you do YouTube videos, whatever one you do. You just celebrate with it. Good. Let it be time. Let your celebration be known. Let yourself know what you are celebrating about. And then, of course, you move on, to the next task that needs to be aced and ace it beautifully. Okay. So in case you're drilled and you're like, SDJ, this year is a yearing. And it's day 238. I don't even know what it is. It's okay. overwhelm happens. Sometimes it's because there are a lot of unexpected things, and sometimes it's because we didn't even start the year planning in the first place, right? So as much as possible, you that could happen, but yeah, calm down. Look at this 128 days that we have, left, and then let's begin to see how to get you back on track. And that will be a recovery strategy. So this ensures that setbacks don't turn into permanent failure. The fact that you didn't finish that book, you didn't finish that course, the fact that that relationship didn't work out, the fact that you got fired from that job, whatever it is, yes, it's not permanent. It just happened, it's temporary. Yes, it might have caused a setback and hurt you so much, but sweetie, get up from it. And let's now look at what we can do to make sense of this remaining 120 days that we have in 2024. Okay, so to get back on track, you certainly need to identify what caused the setback in the first place. Why did that happen? And sometimes it's not your fault, sometimes it is. So if it is your fault, you can say, oh, so this and this and this are the learnings that I'm taking. If it's not your fault, well, identifying the cause might require you forgiving the people that might have wronged you so that it can help you to move off from there. And then you revisit your vision, or you identify what your vision is. Remember how we started in the beginning, right? When we're talking about, the vision that you have written, that vision that is in line with purpose, right? So revisit it or identify it if you had not done that before. You have to reconnect what your vision is with your purpose. And what we spoke about, your purpose being your why. So let's be that simple. So vision is how I see my life in the future, how I see my life at the end of 2024. And purpose will be why. Why is it important that my life is like that, like what I am seeing or the image that I'm seeing? And of course, adjust your plans based on what is now the current reality. And if you didn't set plans before, set the plans, and then let's get on the job. And setting plans will be, you now writing action. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is when I'm going to do it, which is looking a bit like your SMART goals, but broken down into things that you can measure. So modify your actions, modify the steps that you have written based on this current reality. Don't now say what you wanted to achieve in 10 days before you want to achieve it in one. If it's possible, great. If it's not possible, you still need 10 days. So perhaps you had planned that you would achieve 400. So maybe what you can now achieve in the remaining part of this year is 100. Good. Let's do that 100 and do it beautifully well. Accommodate your new realities in the new plan that you are setting, and seek support when needed. Go for counseling, talk to a medical doctor, do your health check, sleep extra, calling someone to help you watch over your children so that you can sleep extra. Pack your things and go to a friend's house and go and stay there, for some time. Or perhaps the rent is what is troubling you. You might want to go home, stay with daddy and mommy for a while. I mean, keep your head low. Don't disturb anybody. In fact, contribute positively to the house in that short time. Is just a setback. It's not a permanent failure. Seek help, seek advice from people. Don't go to, get rich quick schemes or go and begin to get loans from this, loan sharks that will start get. Don't put yourself into more trouble. Seeking support is not equal to, tying yourself deeper and deeper into, what is already happening. All right. So to just do this recap for this entire webinar in a few seconds, what we have really talked about today is that you need to have a vision, and having a vision is you seeing beyond today. Number two, you need to set goals, and setting goals is like bringing that future that you already say. We're speaking about numbering your days, right? So this particular slide is now not speaking about days as against numbers. So your goals is like bringing the future to today. So if that's the future that I want, when I set the goals, it's as though I am now seeing the things that I want to achieve. I'm bringing it to today and I'm writing it down as much as possible, writing it down as though it has already happened. But then I now need an execution strategy, right? So execution strategy is like planning today's work yesterday. So by the time you get to today, you are just spot on doing it. That's what planning is, right? When you have a plan, like, okay, this is what I want to do. So tomorrow I am going to wake up at this time. I'm going to go to this place. I'm going to say this thing. I'm going to come back home at this time. I'm going to do this, and this, and go to bed at this time. That is planning tomorrow's work today. That is planning today's work yesterday. Okay. And then, of course, your need to stay on track is to make today count. That's it. Yesterday might have been bad. 3 days ago didn't go well. That's okay. But staying on track is, yeah, today again, I'm back on track and I'm going to make it count. And when we speak about your assessment, it means that you are weighing today so that tomorrow can be a success. Okay? Weighing today, checking today in a balance so that you can succeed tomorrow. Thank you for your time. It's been a wonderful time sharing knowledge with you in this webinar. It is time now for question and answers. I'm here to answer your questions. And while you put those questions together, I'm going to be reading the chat that you had dropped earlier and all the laughing. The Sam says Sam is available to help. Yes, Sam is available to help. Sam is available to help. And if you do have some mental health issues, you think you need someone to speak to, I tell you for free, Sam is available to help. Please reach out to him. He has a structured program for that one for you. And yes, if he says it is paid, please pay, pay, pay. Buy the truth. We're selling not. All right. Esther says, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. I don't know what you said yes to at this point, but yes, ma'am. Yes, Esther. I agree. Duper says present and learning. I like that. Okay, I think that was when I asked if you were there. Boluwagi says consistency is key. Yes, grow consistency. Yes, people. Thank you very much. Dico laughed. I think it must be when I was talking about the car. Yes, I read Monu's on there and I learned driving with manual. Sam says those who were born recently. Sam, stop it. Esther says honesty focus was needed. Some people are even doing, yes, I read that earlier as well. God help me. I will finish these books. I bought 15 minutes per day. Yes, Esther. I got that 15 minutes per day from a friend. We're just having a friendly chat and she was telling me about her job. She just became an agile project manager. And she was telling me how they do meetings, in like 15 minutes. Like any meeting that cannot really be done in 15 minutes or done in 2 blocks of 15 minutes, they probably have to set a specific agenda for it. They have to probably fix it. I'm like, so in 15 minutes, a lot can happen. And I promise you, I've done quite a lot of meetings for 15 minutes and it has been extremely productive. Read a book for 15 minutes, call a friend for 15 minutes, be on social media for 15 minutes. You can time yourself. And the moment that time is over and is done, off, you've gone to something else. And Dick was laughing. I'm sure this must be the manual car time. He's working and it will work. Yes, Esther. Good. I like that. It's working. Yes, it's working. Knowing why it's not working. Yes, people. Thank you for writing that. It's working. Yes. Or book a session with SDJ. Yes, when I said talking, book a session. I'll be willing to pay. Don't say, SDJ, can I see you? SDJ, I will be in your DM. Well, make it count. Make today count. Mm. Okay. Esther, so thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Esther. God bless you too. Thank you so much, Esther, as ever. Thank you. Thank you, Bimbo. Thank you, Wanola. Thank you, D4. Yes, thank you. Oh, phenomenal STJ. Thank you very much. So I guess there are no questions, right? It's okay. Thank you for your time. If you have questions, I'm still here, available to take your questions. And then for those who will be seeing this on YouTube as well, from time to time, we can go there and then go ahead to, share answers to the questions that you might have, so to a large extent, you can put in your questions in there as well, and I will be more than yes to. So if there's no more questions, I think We cannot to ourselves, can we? What is this? Thank you, SDJ was rejuvenating. Oh, well, thank you. I just saw the rejuvenating part. Yes, and I'm rejuvenated as well. And such a joy, always a joy to do this for you guys. And my bigger joy is not that you are in the webinar. My bigger joy is that I see you excelling. You know, I see you in rooms that I might not have even gotten the privilege to be in. And I'm like, my gosh, look at this young man. Look at this young woman, see what they're doing with their lives. They're acing their goals, they're fulfilling their purpose. That gives me joy every time. And I tell you for real that the thank yous, I don't need you to come to say, SDG, SDG, yeah, if you come, that's fine. But it's not the thanking me or coming to pay homage to me for whatever it is that he said I've done that is what I would call what I really, really desire that I see. What I want to see is you doing well, you being the best that you can be, you changing and impacting the world. I'm looking forward to it, and I pray you God's help. I pray you God's speed. Even in those remaining 128 days of this year, I pray for you in the name of Jesus that it will be more productive for you than all the 238 days you spend in this year combined. In Jesus' name, that God Himself will put a vision in your heart. He will lead you in the direction of your purpose, and He will lead you to setting your goals. He will teach your hands to war in execution, and it will give you the right metrics that you can use, helping you to stay on track, not only in 2024, but all the days of your life. In the name of Jesus. Amen. All right. So how am I going to share my 2 sessions? Okay, let's do it this way. Write me in my DM. I don't want to do it now. But I think I can do it now as well. I have the time to wait, if you want. So write it in my DM. Why it should be you, you know. Convince me that you are the one that really, really needs it. Okay. I'm waiting to say that. I'm waiting, not in my DM. Write it right here, out here, or send a direct message on Zoom, not on my phone. Okay, so let's do this. Let's wait. Let's see what you write. For those who are